Jane's life had always seemed ordinary, but a series of unexpected events turned it upside down. She worked as a teacher, loved by her students and respected by her colleagues. Her days were filled with lesson plans, laughter, and the occasional challenge, but she found fulfillment in her work. Her evenings were spent in a cozy apartment she shared with her loyal dog, Max. One summer, Jane's father suffered a massive heart attack and passed away suddenly. Her grief was compounded by the realization that her mother, who had early-onset Alzheimer's, needed full-time care. Jane made the difficult decision to move her mother in with her, taking on the role of caregiver while continuing to work. Balancing her job and caring for her mother took a toll on Jane. Her once joyful days became exhausting marathons. She barely slept, worried constantly about her mother, and found herself falling behind at work. Her principal, though sympathetic, had to address complaints from parents about Jane's declining performance. After a few warnings, Jane was asked to take a leave of absence to focus on her personal matters. Financial strain quickly followed. Jane's savings dwindled as she paid for medical bills and her mother's increasing needs. The stress and exhaustion led to her becoming ill herself. One cold, rainy night, she collapsed in the grocery store, overwhelmed and weakened by a bout of pneumonia. A kind stranger helped her to the hospital, where she was admitted for treatment. The hospital staff insisted she take time to recover, but Jane's mind raced with worries about her mother and finances. While recovering in the hospital, Jane received a call from an old friend, Emily, whom she hadn't spoken to in years. "Jane, I heard what happened. How can I help?" Emily's voice was warm, familiar, and full of concern. Jane broke down, sharing her struggles. Emily listened patiently and offered support. "Jane, you've been taking on too much alone. Let me help. I know a great caregiver service that can assist with your mom, and we'll figure out your work situation together." After being discharged, Jane followed Emily's advice. The caregiver service provided professional help for her mother, allowing Jane to rest and recover. Emily also helped her connect with a local support group for caregivers, where she found solace in sharing her experiences with others facing similar challenges. Months later, Jane's strength returned. She regained her health and found a part-time job at a local bookstore, a gentle reintroduction to work life that allowed her to balance her responsibilities at home. The bookstore's cozy atmosphere and kind coworkers provided a welcome change from the hectic pace of teaching. One evening, while organizing a shelf, Jane found an old journal tucked behind a row of books. Curious, she opened it and found pages filled with inspiring stories of resilience and hope. She decided to start writing her own story, capturing the trials she had faced and the lessons she had learned. Emily visited Jane one weekend, and they spent hours catching up. Jane shared her newfound passion for writing, and Emily encouraged her to submit her work to a local magazine that featured personal stories of triumph over adversity. With Emily's encouragement, Jane submitted her story. To her surprise, the magazine published it, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Readers from all walks of life wrote to her, sharing their own stories and thanking her for inspiring them. One afternoon, Jane received an invitation to speak at a local community center about her journey. Nervous but excited, she accepted. Her talk was well received, and afterward, a woman approached her in tears. "Your story gave me hope," she said. "I've been struggling with caring for my father, and I felt so alone. Thank you for showing me there's light at the end of the tunnel." Jane hugged the woman, realizing in that moment the power of sharing her experiences. She continued to write and speak, helping others find their strength and resilience. Her journey had been filled with hardship, but it led her to a new purpose. One evening, as Jane watched the sunset from her apartment balcony, Max by her side, she reflected on how far she had come. The loss, the struggles, and the moments of despair had not diminished her value. They had shaped her into a beacon of hope for others. She whispered a heartfelt thank you to the universe, to Emily, and to herself. Jane had been dropped, crumpled, and ground into the dirt, but she had emerged stronger and more valuable than ever. She was special, and she would never forget it.